It is the first time in the history of Genshin Impact that at the beginning of a new region of a new element, we don't have the traveler of the corresponding element. Everyone wonders, and what about the traveler Pyro? Why hasn't the Pyro traveler come out in Natlan 5? All this and much more we will see in today's video, as for example, which has to do with the traveler with the Archon and what possibilities. We may have the first traveler with an agnostic, i.e. an Archon traveler. What about the future Pyros in Natlan? I mean, no longer only the traveler, but perhaps Mavuika and Expelank who just mention on a rather important mission that is not Archon in Genshin Impact. So I tip off spoilers in this video that's very important, but I'll play it the least with the main theme and you know. Leave a good like, a good Bennett Alti subscribe, leave a good comment for algorithm. See you at the live shows, link below in the description. Welcome and thank you for the support. It doesn't cost you anything. It's free, you know. Blow up the like button, subscribe. It helps the channel a lot to grow to be. And now yes, thank you for giving that like and leaving a comment for algorithm. Let's go with the Traveler Pyro. Well, the first thing I want to contextualize in a framework of quite realistic possibilities at least, that we can expect from the Natlan region regarding the Pyro characters, which is quite obvious. Of the directs that went viral saying that I don't want the Archon to be carry and so on. But what we're clear about is that at least there's going to be a Pyro traveler. That is, a Pyro character. It can be better or worse and mainly have been very bad. Vianney have a Pyro Archon. Oh, it's going to be. I think it's a 5-star Xiangling. And at least Pyro is the element par excellence of the carries. I think many of you have already thought about carry Pyro, carry date. There are videos talking about carry Pyro, but the summary is that the element with more DPS character than feel of the game is the element Pyro. Yan Fai Leni Yoemila Hutao Gama Lalekino. Berens can play carry in the field and well, some of them will be forgetting me. But the thing is what I'm telling you, so in my opinion at least, and it's quite realistic, and let me have your thoughts on the comments. A carry Pyro will arrive in Natlan. So at least we already have 3 Pyro characters in Natlan that potentially, at least 2 of them have the potential to be very powerful, and among them would be this Pyro traveler. Is Archonte Pyro that may or may not be support, and that so-called DPS Rotan Sima Pyro, perhaps Primordial Dragon then in the mission that is done not Archontes, but a later one that unlocks when you do several missions basically? If you have already done it, it is a kind of coordination and collaboration with your pet and let you understand that capable out there. You get the agnosis after Mavuika does some kind of good, you know, and this isn't spoiler. I'm not the ugly one, it's just a guess I can get to have. And Ixpelankor, I don't know how to pronounce it. Exactly. But heard in 80,000 ways that many talk about being the primordial dragon that is mentioned a lot on that mission concretely, and then apart from my great speculation, how about 4 that's supposed to be a dragon? Put on the experts in mythology, Mexico, Maya, Teika, put there a description of what it is that I leave to all the comments. But in short, maybe it also makes some kind of star appearance, some kind of reference to this other dragon that also could be a primordial dragon or some kind of important character in history. And apart from these 3 characters at least, capable we even have some 4th character, Pyro, is the nation of Pyro. Within all this, what could happen? Well, we are told a lot in history that it's the first time, and this isn't something very normal that you see breaks a cycle.
Huh?
You know how Joyo sees when something works for him. If you see me doing this on my arm, it is what he does. There are little new tattoos around here and so on. I don't know if they look, and the tattoos just sting and so on. Phil, don't scratch the data in the comment. Basically, they let us fall that the Traveler is going to receive the Agnostic, as I say, is the first time they don't give us the Traveler. Pyro first ID. In my opinion, how will this puzzle fit? Well, I think as we already have enough also sub. DPS Espiros, as for example, sub DPS supports Pyro as Bennett, who is Jesus Christ. Xiangling, who is Jesus Christ, and then apart, there are also defensive Pyro characters who occasionally paste a small fountain. Pyro like Deya or Toma, and some other Pyro more like Xinyan. I think Enjoy over Say hadn't taken out enough data, because the game, as explained in other videos, works to data. That is, they collect a lot of information, big, and then information is analyzed and a result is executed, approaching as close as you can to something right. And I'm also going to appeal to the procedure they did with Furina. That is, Furina, unlike Yelan and Xingqiu, is a more risky character and needs and combines with a much defensive contribution, more powerful than Yelan or Xingqiu. And besides, one very important thing he has is that he has Archonte cooldowns, that you have listened to me a lot. And that is that she adapts to rotations of 15 seconds, which Xingqiu was impossible, because he has 21 seconds of cooldown on the kick, and Yelan has 18 seconds of cooldown on his ulti, with which Archonte's cooldown is Furina's, although its function is similar. In this equation, Bennett has Archonte's cooldowns because he has 15 seconds and 12 of utilization of his ulti. But Xiangling doesn't have Archonte's cooldowns, that is, literally just like Xingqiu and Yelan. Zub DPS is amazing. Its Hydro, of the best characters in the game, have gotten a much better Archonte. That what improves and enables is, as you know, Fontaine's mechanics of losing and earning life, and the damage inflicted and healing. Bonus to the whole team, which is amazing as it is very noticeable that at least one of these characters is going to be a Xiangling. In another video, I talk with my speculations and all the signals of the game about what the complete kit would be like. Mavuika, I'm leaving that video here for you to watch. I just wanted to mention that at least there's going to be a 5-star Xiangling, because to top it off, a 5-star Xiangling with rotation less than 20 seconds from Xiangling, that is, 15 or 18, would fit perfectly with Mualani and Kinnick, which have respectively Mualani 15 seconds of cooldown, in general in his ulti and Kinnick 18, also in his ulti and his elementary ability, and this would trigger burns. For the Kinnish team with Cryptor and the burn to vaporize on burn of the Mualani team. I mean, if you look at it, it's perfect cores and signs that at least one of the important characters in Pyro de Natlan will be a Xiangling 5 stars. On the other hand, and now we close the theme of the Xiangling 5 stars. I think you're all thinking, Phil, we all in the community speculate there'll be a 5-star Bennett. Right, but to what extent is a 5-star Bennett going to look like the current Bennett if our Bennett already does what? I mean, it has this limitation of 70% of life, but it cures you perfect without leading just a life investment in 2 ticks to any character. It gives you such an uncompromising attack bufo that it has never been able to match less for Furina. By no other character, and Bennett plus Furina team combinations don't make sense to those who can take advantage of the attack, of course, like Amin or Arlecchino literally positioning itself in 3 or 4 of the best teams in the game. And good thing Nouvelette's on track, because if not, imagine this new Expelank. What kind of Bennett would it be? It would be a Bennett who cures you like Xianyun or Arashilon, or like Baiju does. That's kind of a portable cure for improving Bennett's area, because sometimes it's annoying, that Bennett area. And for example, Kinnish, as he has a lot of movement, you can see that Kinnick's movement has done it, so that maybe he doesn't. Always be inside the Bennett area, and be a less comfortable P-line to play Kinnish with Bennett. This Bennett 5 stars makes sense, doesn't it? And then what else now? If the Pyro is related to the attack, just like the Hydro with life, like the Dendro with mastery, like the Electro with recharge, or the Geo have finally done it with the defense in a final way, with the new Geos coming out, like Kahina or Xilonen, so Xpelonk is going to buff the attack just like Bennett. Because if I buff the damage inflicted like Furina, what I would literally do is be a Furina but healer. Or you'd add up 2 damage bonuses inflicted, Furina plus Xpelonk, if it were a very good healer. So here I see it complicated, because innovating a 5-star Xilonen is possible. But innovating a 5-star Bennett, I see it as complicated that it's not just a repeated Bennett. At least the cure is portable and people say, ah, good, because I have 2 Bennetts and this becomes monotony. And finally, do you think that maybe, and for the first time, the Traveler Pyro is a character as strong and not as the Traveler Dendro? That was good, the Dendro Traveler, but it was good until Nahida came out, and then Emily, and then the Traveler Dendro, because many people don't use it to say nothing, unless in the imaginary theater you miss characters. Will the Traveler Pyro be one of these two characters, and we will actually have at last a Traveler who, instead of having simply a normal control of the elements, have an agnosis in their power so that the Traveler fights with the Pyro agnosis against Sarin with 6 of the 7 gnosis, but the Traveler with an agnosis and the elemental power of the rest of elements. Can you imagine an Avengers with dragons or Archontes? Primordial dragons and Archontes in Snezhnaya when the version of Natlan is finished. And finally, as I said in a previous video, the 5.1 is going to be filled in and it's very rare. But can you imagine what Natlan evolves into? We've been saved for the best and level 100 comes. There come those 2 extra abysses that are coming. Get the power to really use pets when you're pet. Put in the comments those that have led to the end of the end. Video, what name did you name your pet? When that comes, and maybe in my case, it's called Labita as a Tyrannita, and evolve and make you a bigger little bug that's your pet that might help you in the fight. A future parenting system or something, because I don't know. But at least Fontaine, this kind of thing was growing in Natlan. It's already started very well. So if it gets better, it can only mean one thing, and we're going to get closer to Genshin Summit. Since if for some reason the Gyro Gnosis ends up having Fatuous, they will have the 7 Gnosis. Because the only one missing is Krios, and they already have it because it's from Saritsa or Serena. I mean, they just lack the Gyro Gnosis, and it's the most important point in Genshin's history. That will come at 5.2 and 5.3. So very attentive if you like the lore, as I say, because I think Genshin's pick is coming. And for the first time ever, the Traveler's pick, maybe being a DPS Pyro, a 5-star Bennett, and a 5-star Xiangling. Like the 3 brokenest characters in Natlan Blind Dark. A little more, leave a good like, a good ulti of Bennett, subscribe to you, leave a good comment for algorithm. I know that in the end, that is to say your hype has been kept in the clouds of what may happen at Natlan. Thanks, because it is free, it costs you nothing and helps a lot to increase the channel and the positioning of the video and little bitty.